Good morning, Reading Elementary. Welcome to Monday, October 16th. Everyone should be in class ready for instruction to begin. I would like to welcome you to America's Safe Schools Week, Mr. Floyd.
Right.
Everybody around the country this week is going to be celebrating keeping our kids safe at school. We have some very special events planned throughout the week. We kind of kicked that off last week with Mrs. Henry. With School Safety Week lessons, Red Ribbon Week lessons. Some people are going to be meeting with her again today, and tomorrow Mr. Fosbrink is going to be here for K through 2 with some bus safety. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have a great day Wednesday, our first ever school safety day, where we're going to be rotating from station to station. And I'm expecting some great things out of our kids, some great learning opportunities. Tip for you today, when we talk to our kids, we say, if you see something, say something, okay? Around the building, we want to make sure that we're not propping any doors open to the outside. We want to make sure if we see one that's left open, maybe from recess, or maybe somebody was coming in from the bus and they propped the door open, or it just kind of stayed open, we want to make sure we're pulling those closed. We never want to open those doors to anybody that's visiting. They need to enter through the main office and go through our process there. So that never open a door, even if it's for somebody that you think might be allowed to be here. And then if you see something that seems a little unusual, we want you to report that immediately. You know, we talked about a guy that was taking a break and walking his dog around a few months ago. And those types of things need to be reported immediately. So if you see something, say something. Keep America's schools safe.
Very good.
All right.
And I don't know that that's limited to schools. We also want, as we talk about these things with you, this is something that we want you to also think about when you're at your house, when you're out, maybe, at a restaurant, things like that. Tips for being safe are not just limited to here at school. And it's always good to talk with your parents or grandparents with those things too, because you'll find a lot of the things that we're wanting you to do to keep you safe here at school are also going to be things that can help keep you safe at home. So not just America's Safe Schools Week, I would say just Safe Week in general for our students.
Safety Week. I like that.
That's right. So we'll go ahead and kind of move along. As you notice, as you were coming in to school this morning, it's a little chilly. I refuse to get my jacket out yet. I'm not going to fully commit to agree that the weather is going to actually change on us. I still feel like Indiana weather is at some point going to warm back up, but it's going to be a high of 61, a little cool as you're coming in. As the weather's starting to drop, something we want to keep in mind for all of our students is to make sure that you dress appropriately and accordingly to what the weather is, because you'll still have a chance to go off for recess during the day. So if it's going to be chilly, make sure you bring that sweatshirt, bring that jacket, so that way not only coming in school or leaving school, but also during recess, you make sure you stay warm. So
and on Wednesday morning for safety day, we'll be outside for several of those stations. So definitely start wearing those heavier hoodies or jackets. We'll be good to go.
Keep yourself warm, keep yourself comfortable. So as Mr. Bush said, today is it's Monday, October 16th. Couple of interesting dates in history that I was able to find. So kind of a more current one from the year 2008, so not that long ago.
Okay, 2008. Some of you guys were alive for this.
Not 1492.
That's right. So 2008, did you know that iTunes in the year 2008 hit 200 billion TV episodes sold in 2008?
Wow.
They sold 200 billion episodes by 2008. That's crazy. This is our tech guru, Mrs. Not going to some older.
I really don't have it. I don't even know.
Always got to throw some history in there too. On this date, October 16th, 1854.
Oh, okay. Now
there was 1854. There was a lawyer that gave a speech. This lawyer was a congressional hopeful, and he gave a speech in opposition about how much he did not like slavery. And at that time, he was speaking out against something that was a common practice. So this person spoke out. He felt that slavery was immoral. He was an attorney that would eventually become our presidential candidate, and then also who helped to win it, Abraham Lincoln.
Awesome.
So well before he was president and well before he helped to end slavery, 1854, he was speaking out against it, just being an attorney. So it was something where he was laying that groundwork well before he actually helped to abolish that. So I thought that was an interesting fact. Last one, the year 1962. On this day is when President Kennedy found out that Cuba had missiles pointed at the United States.
Oh, the Cuban Missile
That's
Crisis.
right. The reason this is significant is because the United States was very close to a nuclear war. But fortunately, at that time, our president and our country was able to negotiate and end without any kind of military action. So at that time was a very scary time. I remember my grandparents talking about that, where there was a lot of unknowns for, at any time a war could break out. So we're very fortunate right now that we have the ability to feel safe. And I just couldn't imagine that time in history. So lots of interesting times from October 16th. So the last thing before I pass it on to Mrs. Henry is our joke for today. I have the name here on the back as Alexis Collins from Mrs. Hume's class. I like that. So here we go. Mr. Bush, Mrs. Henry.
Yeah.
What goes ha 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 plop? What goes ha 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 plop?
I have a lot of guesses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh boy.
A monster laughing its head off.
Very literal
Yeah, we go.
interpretation.
There we go.
That's cute.
Very
Okay.
clever.
Oh my
Mrs. Henry, what do you have for us?
Well,
That's good. That's good.
you get to talk about Abraham Lincoln and Cuban Missile
That's
Crisis,
right.
and I talk
In
about
iTunes.
corn pups.
Corn pups for lunch today.
Mini
Mini,
corn pups.
of course.
Golden corn, fresh veggie choice, and fruits.
Hey.
What we got for Monday? Birthdays today: Jordan Alexander and Bentley Hicks, both in Mrs. Wagner's class.
Happy birthday.
Double
Hey,
birthdays.
happy birthday, guys.
Next week, Red Ribbon Week. Get ready.
What's day one? Day one is pajama day.
Pajama day. Get your
I'm
PJs
curious to see what
ready.
Mrs. Henry is like. She seems kind of like a Wonder Woman or Captain America pajama type person.
With,
I guess we'll find
little
out.
cape. Mrs. West, have you
See?
made that onesie for Mr. Floyd yet? Well,
6'6". I need the extra
6'6".
tall.
Utah.
That's right.
Utah.
That's good.
I've got just a small little request. This will be good for maybe a sucker or something. Don't come all up at once. Submit these through your teacher. If you have any kind of beneficial safety tips for us to read these next couple days on the announcements, we ask for jokes all the time.
Mhm.
If you have a tip, a safety tip, you're a student and you'd like to share a safety tip on the announcements, make sure you write your name and grade. If I get a whole bunch of them, I won't be able to read them all, but I'll be able to read a few of them. Feel free to submit these next 2 days. Okay. All right. So let's make it a great Monday.
Yeah.
Short week this week. Fall break begins on Thursday. We're off on Thursday and Friday, so let's make it the best
Parent
week.
conferences.
Parent-teacher
tomorrow.
conferences tonight. Mrs. Shuffett, I was going to say Wee Miller. Mrs. Shuffett is going to be selling art of owl.
Ornaments.
What were they? Made out of clay? They
Yeah,
kind of made
yeah.
those on their own
Yeah.
and out of clay, and then they painted them, and they look beautiful. They're going to be for sale out front here tonight, and make sure you guys get here the next couple days for parent-teacher conferences. All right. Let's say our running motto
All right.
together.
I am respectful. I am responsible. I am a Reading leader.
Please join us in the pledge in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's a great day to be a Hornet.